websites, Pacers Entertainment, and lowering ticket prices. Yes, now I talked about this past weekend because something I noticed during that Nigeria game is how empty the stadium was. I say, damn, man, back in the days when
The atmosphere inside the Indiana Fever Arena just shifted from electric to toxic as a wave of unprecedented chaos threatens to derail the franchise. What began as digital noise, fueled by relentless frustration over coaching decisions and front office mismanagement, has manifested into a shocking physical exodus, with fans abandoning their seats mid-game in a move that has sent shockwaves through the league. This wasn't supposed to happen to Caitlin Clark era. The very team that ignited a global revolution in WNBA attendance is now witnessing its core supporters walk out in a defiant stand against the organization's perceived failure to protect its momentum. The tension reached a terrifying fever pitch when Clark appeared to struggle physically after a high-impact play, sending social media into an absolute frenzy of injury rumors and demands for player safety. This isn't just about a single loss anymore. It's a full-scale uprising against a crumbling infrastructure, as booing echoes through emptying sections and boycott trends globally. The Fever are no longer just fighting for a win on the court. They are fighting to survive an internal explosion that threatens to burn down everything they built around the game's biggest star.
When she was trying to come back from injury. So let's take a look.
What music, WNBA practices do sound like women.
There. Now, this has people very concerned. This is also what Sophie Cunningham is wearing as she's recovering from her knee surgery. This is what Aaliyah Boston was also spotted in practice wearing as she's recovering as well. So this has a lot of people concerned, like, hey, what's going on with our GOAT? What's going on with our GOAT? I mean, yeah, man.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
What music,
So she's definitely wearing this leg sleeve. How serious of an injury this is, we don't know, man. But this is not ideal. I'll say that.
Now, you guys can see here to the right here. Let me blow this up for y'all so y'all can see this all the way. Now, to the right here, it says these tickets for section 206 row 17 used to be $74. And now they're $40. That's damn near a half off price. And that ain't the only section. These tickets right here in the nosebleeds used to be $71. Now they're $47. Mind you, these are like $5 to $20 tickets. These are the nosebleed seats, man. The nosebleeds. And it's just looking bad, bro. Now, any other time we click on this Indiana Fever stuff.
The Indiana Fever's internal collapse just hit a devastating new low as Sophie Cunningham's raw, visible frustration boiled over on the sidelines, igniting a viral firestorm that the organization can no longer contain. Cameras captured an emotional confrontation between Cunningham and the coaching staff, a moment fans are hailing as a desperate defense of Caitlin Clark amidst a crumbling team culture. As social media erupts with accusations of gross mismanagement and demands for Stephanie White's accountability, the franchise appears to be in full-scale panic mode, reportedly slashing ticket prices in a futile attempt to halt a massive fan boycott. The optics are brutal. While the front office scrambles, Clark remains a silent, stoic figure, single-handedly enduring the crushing weight of hard fouls, media scrutiny, and systemic drama. The breaking point arrived in a haunting final image of Clark sitting near the bench surrounded by rows of empty seats, a heartbreaking visual of a fractured fan base and a historic era slipping to the organization's fingers. This isn't just a slump. It is the sound of a once loyal audience finally walking away, leaving the league's biggest star to carry the wreckage alone.
It's dropped. Let me see here.
When we need a stretch big out there, she's going to have an opportunity to be out on the floor. She had a tremendous offseason. She's healthy. She's in great shape, and she's been impressive thus far in camp.
Hey, this is Bud out from taking the Swish. Coach White, what identity do you want offensively, and what's the biggest growth there so far?
I want us to be a fast-paced team that's really hard to guard. We want the ball moving side to side. Really the goal is to play 0.5 to 1 second basketball. Get a lot of player movement and ball movement. I think we're continuing to grow a lot in that area. A couple things that I think can still be a growth edge for us is one, like not over dribbling. I think we're over dribbling at times. Get it moving, and then two, just be great screeners and cutters. The little things, the details that are going to open up opportunities for one another and for teammates by being a great screener or being a great cutter.
And a question for Aaliyah. What's the next step for this team to become a true contender, and what's your approach to controlling the paint on both ends of the floor?
Yeah, I think I'll start with that part. Just continue to be that presence, making sure that I'm calling for the ball, making sure I'm shooting well around the rim, and defensively, just continue to be that post presence that we need. And I think for us, it's just about making sure that we're focused every single night we step on that floor, making sure that we're paying attention to the details, because all those little details matter. And so it's going to have to be our mindset.
Yeah.
Now, Aaliyah Boston, to me, we didn't really get to see her a whole lot during this Nigeria game. Really see her go up against some of the best talent. And offensively and defensively, I feel like they definitely need to utilize her and make sure she do not get in foul trouble this season. Now, the referees has been showing up and showing out, at least for Caitlin Clark. Hopefully, we can see them show up and show out for Aaliyah Boston as well. That was a good question.
Coach, I saw Caitlin Clark was wearing a leg sleeve today. Any particular reason for that?
It's a style thing. It looks good on her, doesn't it? Sure does.
The internet seems to think so, yeah.
Well, the internet's a great resource.
Chelsea, for you, I'm curious, what are...
Just months ago, Indiana felt invincible, but today, that dominance has been replaced by a fractured atmosphere that has the entire basketball world on high alert. This morning's sports cycles are dominated by a single, polarizing question. Has the pressure of the Caitlin Clark era finally overwhelmed the Fever organization? While some analysts point toward the weight of unprecedented fan expectations, the consensus is clear. This has become the most emotionally charged storyline in WNBA history. Supporters aren't turning their backs on Clark. Instead, they become her fiercest guardians, viewing her as a solitary figure absorbing the league's criticism and internal chaos while carrying the franchise on her back. Amidst this storm, Sophie Cunningham has emerged as a symbol of loyalty, with fans rallying behind her raw, sideline intensity as proof of a locker room pushed to its absolute limit. As the regular season looms, the Fever find themselves at a definitive breaking point. The world isn't just watching a team anymore. It's watching to see if a revolution can survive its own internal explosion, or if the greatest momentum in women's sports is about to collapse under its own gravity. Just months ago, Indiana felt invincible, but today, that dominance has been replaced by a fractured atmosphere that has the entire basketball world on high alert. This morning's sports cycles are dominated by a single, polarizing question. Has the pressure of the Caitlin Clark era finally overwhelmed the Fever organization? While some analysts point toward the weight of unprecedented fan expectations, the consensus is clear. This has become the most emotionally charged storyline in WNBA history. Supporters aren't turning their backs on Clark. Instead, they become her fiercest guardians, viewing her as a solitary figure absorbing the league's criticism and internal chaos while carrying the franchise on her back. Amidst this storm, Sophie Cunningham has emerged as a symbol of loyalty, with fans rallying behind her raw, sideline intensity as proof of a locker room pushed to its absolute limit.